Hello, grade 10. This is Miss Brianna, your English teacher from Knowledge Private School. Thank you for joining me today. Today we will look at page 10 in your student book. This is page 10 in your student book. The title says, Dad looked on the internet. We will talk about adverbs of frequency like always, never, usually. We will talk about past simple. Remember when we take a verb like eat, but we're talking in the past, so we say ate. This is past simple. Remember, when we make a verb in the past, like, okay, let's say look, we make this past tense, we say looked. So a lot of times we add ed to make something past tense. This is a regular verb, but sometimes we have something called an irregular verb. This means in the past tense, we don't add ed. It's just different. For example, eat is in the present. The past tense is ate. We didn't add ed to make it past. We just have a new word, like run becomes ran. Okay, this is another irregular verb. So a regular verb is where we add ed, and irregular is where it's just different. And we'll also talk about using this word used to. Used to. This means in the past I did something, but now I do not. So today we'll look at page 10. Tomorrow we'll look at page 11, and we'll discuss these three topics. To begin, let's read these emails. Number 1, listen and follow with your eyes. Dear Bahar, hi, I'm Haval, your American cousin. I hope you don't mind this sudden email, but I think it's time for us to make contact. I expect you to know the story. Dad left Slimani 20 years ago and moved to America. I was born here in San Francisco, so I feel more American than Kurdish. But now I really want to learn about Kurdistan, so please write back. Best wishes, Haval. P.S. I'm attaching a photo, the one with the ball. Dad took it during a big school basketball match last month. Which photo is he talking about? Well, it's the one with the ball, and it's at basketball, so it's this photo here. So his name is Haval. He's writing to Bahar. Haval's dad left Soleimani. So Haval feels more American than Kurdish. Let's read one more time. This time repeat after me. Dear Bahar. Hi, I'm Haval, your American cousin. I hope you don't mind this sudden email, but I think it's time for us to make contact. I expect you to know the story. Dad left Soleimani 20 years ago and moved to America. I was born here in San Francisco, so I feel more American than Kurdish. But now I really want to learn about Kurdistan. So please write back. Best wishes, Haval. P.S. P.S. means like, it stands for postscript. It means like a little note at the bottom, like a little more information. Repeat after me. I'm attaching a photo. I'm the one with the ball. Dad took it during a big school basketball match last month. Okay, let's see what Haval says. What Bahar says. Bahar says, Dear Haval, I was very happy to get your surprise email. I know our dads often call and sometimes write, but you're right. It's good for us to make contact. Talking about that, Dad says that you must come and visit us. He suggests that you should come next vacation. I think that's a great idea. What do you think? There's lots to see in Kurdistan too, like the beautiful waterfalls in Ahmadawa. I'm sending you a picture of our last family picnic there. We always go in spring. And last time, I nearly fell in the water. Thanks for your photo. It looks a very exciting game. Did your team win? How many points did you score? Best wishes, Bahar. So he emails Haval. Again, he says, Dear Haval, this is a good way to start a letter or an email. He also attaches a picture. Which picture does he attach? It's the one with the waterfall and the picnic. So apparently, Haval and Bahar's dads often call and sometimes write. But this is the first time for Bahar and Haval to make contact. Contact means to talk to one another. So Bahar says that Haval should visit for a vacation. He says there's lots to see in Kurdistan, for example, like the beautiful waterfalls here. What else is there to see in Kurdistan? Well, there's Suleimani, Erbil, and Dahuk. There are the mountains, especially the mountains around Dahuk. There's Dahuk Dam, and the malls, and hiking. There's so much to see in Kurdistan. So Bahar really likes the waterfalls. And he asks some questions to Haval. He says, did your team win? And how many points did you score? Now repeat after me. Dear Haval, I was very happy to get your surprise email. I know our dads often call and sometimes write. But you're right. It's good for us to make contact. So before we continue, I want to show you these two words are pronounced the same way, but they're spelled differently and they mean different things. So this is right, as in, writing. This is right, as in Kurdish, rasta, drista, true, right. So both of them are pronounced the same way, but they mean different things. Okay, let's continue. I say, then you say. Talking about that, Dad says that you must come and visit us. He suggests that you should come next vacation. I think that's a great idea. What do you think? There's a lot to see in Kurdistan too, like the beautiful waterfalls at Ahmadawa. I'm sending you a picture of our last family picnic there. We always go in spring. And last time I nearly fell in the water. Thanks for your photo. It looks a very exciting game. Did your team win? How many points did you score? Best wishes, Bahar. So Haval writes back to Bahar. He says, Hi, Bahar. I'd really love to come, and my parents think it's a great idea too. Dad looked on the internet last night and found the best route. He says he'll call your parents soon and talk about dates. This is exciting. I'm really happy that we made contact. Thanks for your photo. It looks a lovely place, and I can't wait to see it. You asked about my last picture. Did we win? Yes, we certainly did. 21-18, and I scored 3. It's getting late, so I must stop, but before I finish, I'm attaching another picture. This time it's a family photo. Those are the little ones, Perry and Juan, next to me. They'd love to meet all of you too. Bye, Haval. Which picture is he talking about? Of course, this one, with his family. He talks about Peri and Joan next to him. So this is Haval. These are his sisters, Peri and Joan. And here is his mom and dad. So Bahar's mom and dad thinks it's good for him to go on a vacation to Kurdistan, and they want to find the best route. This is talking about airplane routes, like the best place to fly to come to Kurdistan. For example, when I came to Kurdistan, I flew from my home to London, from London to Istanbul to Erbil. So this is a route. So they're finding the best route for him. He also says thanks for the photo. He thinks it's a lovely place. And he answers Bahar's questions about the game. They did win 21-18. And how many did he score? 3. He says again, attaching. This is the word we use for putting a photo in an email, attaching. Like he did up here as well, attaching a photo. So it looks like Bahar and Haval are going to be good friends. Now I say, and you repeat. Hi, Bahar. I'd really love to come, and my parents think it's a great idea too. Dad looked on the internet last night and found the best route. He says he'll call your parents soon and talk about dates. This is exciting. I'm really happy that we made contact. Thanks for your photo. It looks a lovely place and I can't wait to see it. You asked about my last picture. Did we win? Yes, we certainly did. 21-18. And I scored 3. It's getting late, so I must stop. But before I finish, I'm attaching another picture. This time it's a family photo. Those are the little ones, Peri and Joan, next to me. They'd love to meet all of you too. Bye, Haval. In our next lesson, we will look at page 11. We'll discuss some grammar related to these emails. We'll discuss some words related to these emails. But for now, we will just do some homework. And I want you to read these emails to yourself and make sure you understand what they are saying. So for homework, complete page 4 in your activity book. First, these are adverbs of frequency. Always, usually, often, sometimes, never. So you can think about it like this. Always means 100%. I always drink coffee in the morning. Never is 0%. I never eat ice cream for breakfast. Okay, usually is like about here, like 75%. I usually drink tea in the evening. Often is like 50%. I often go to the park. Sometimes is like 25%. I sometimes call my family on Sundays. So when we put this in a sentence, we have our subject like I, then our adverb of frequency, and then our verb like I always drink tea. Or I, let's say, drink water. Okay, so we could put always here. We could say, I always drink water. I usually drink water. I often drink water. I sometimes drink water. I never drink water. So that's how we put these words into a sentence. Remember, always is like 100%. Never is like 0. Now, read the questionnaires and write about Haval and Bahar. Here we have Haval Bakar. Haval Bakar always does what? Well, here we have, this is all about Haval. See, this is his name. So Haval always sends emails, right? Sends emails. So always 100%. And he usually does what? Looks for information. So write looks for information here. He often does what? Listens to music. And he sometimes buys things. Remember, because we're talking about Haval, we must add an S to the end of our verbs. Like at the end of send, we must add an S because we're talking about he, Haval. At the end of listen, we add an S, listens. At the end of watch, we say watches. At the end of look, we say looks. Add an S. At the end of buy, we say buys. So just remember to add an S to your verbs because we're talking about he, Haval. Good. And then, but he never, what does he never do? Watches films. So do the same for Bahar here. So you're going to write what they always do, usually do, often do, sometimes do, never do. Okay, and then write these same types of sentences here for Bahar. If you have questions, we will review it in the next video. We can review it in the live class, or you can always message our group chat. So continue on page 4 of your activity book. Here, find the opposites in the emails. What is the opposite of all of these words? Now this is from email 2. What is the opposite of wrong? Try to write all the opposites and then start the video, and I'll show you the answers. So pause your video and write the opposites, and then I'll show you the answers. Okay, so hopefully you could find all the opposites. Let's see, the opposite of wrong is right. The opposite of last is first. The opposite of ugly is beautiful. The opposite of never is always. The opposite of autumn is spring. The opposite of lose is win. What about email 3? The opposite of go is come. The opposite of boring is interesting. The opposite of answered is asked. The opposite of early is late. The opposite of start is finish. The opposite of after is before. So you can look in email 2 and email 3 for all of the words that are opposites. I'll say them one more time. Wrong, right. Last, first. Ugly, beautiful. Never, always. Autumn, spring. Lose, win. Go, come. Boring, interesting. Answered, asked. Early, late. Start, finish, after, before. So write the correct opposites here. After you write the opposites, you can use them to complete the following. So, for example, number 1, in Kurdistan, the weather is warm in, when is it warm? It's warm in the spring. So you'll write spring, and cooler again in autumn. Write autumn. Number 2, let's go. We mustn't be for our flight. We mustn't be probably late. We mustn't be late for our flight. Don't worry, we're 3 hours early. Okay, complete 3 and 4, pause the video, and then I'll show you the answers. Okay, hopefully you found the answers. Number 3, Bahar, several questions in her first email, and Haval, them when he wrote back to her. So we're talking about questions. So which one is it? This one. Bahar asked several questions in her first email, and Haval answered them when he wrote back to her. Number 4, Haval wrote the email, so the one will be from Bahar. So Haval wrote the first email, so the last one will be from Bahar. So practice these opposites. Remember to write all of them and then study them. These are important words for you to know if you do not know them. Read the emails to yourself, and we will work on page 11 in the next lesson. Thank you for joining me today. If you have questions, again, watch the video again, or message the group chat, or we'll talk about it in our live Zoom class later. Thank you everyone for joining me today. Keep studying hard and do your homework, and have a good rest of your week. Bye everyone.